What's up, guys? Welcome back to Chiefs Chat. Today, we're talking about the Chiefs' recent trade to pick up Kadarius Toney. Had to send him a 3rd and a 6th round pick, but really when you take a look at it, this dude was the 20th overall pick in last year's draft. So, we're getting a guy who was selected in the 1st round and giving up a couple of lower picks to bring this guy in. So, definitely an interesting move. It's been very interesting to watch this move develop because Kadarius Toney, as you guys know, has dealt with so many injuries. He was out for almost the entirety of his rookie season, and now here in his sophomore season, he's missed quite a bit of time, okay? But we're now starting to learn that, maybe he wasn't really injured. It's very interesting to see, what's been happening over there in New York, because it just seemed like, Kadarius Toney, every single week, he's on the injury list, but is he actually injured? That's the question, because, it seemed like he just didn't want to play. It seemed like the Giants were looking to trade this guy because, I don't think anyone expected this. I don't think anyone expected Kadarius Toney to be moved here, but he is, okay? And he's going to the Chiefs. So definitely interesting. Kadarius Toney, it just seemed like he didn't want to play for that organization, even though they are winning games right now. They're a winning football team, surprisingly. But Kadarius Toney, he just wanted to move on. So definitely interesting. I don't have any question. There's no doubt in my mind that with Kadarius Toney on the Chiefs, he's not going to want to just sit out, because, this is the Chiefs. Who doesn't want to play with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and, Andy Reid, one of the best head coaches in the NFL. So, I think Kadarius Toney, now that he's in Kansas City, it's like, whoa, man, it's like, the air is different down here. I feel much better. I think that's kind of the mentality he's going into this with, because, I think he was injured with the Giants, but I think what injured really meant was, I don't like it here. So, definitely interesting, but I want to get into this trade. I really want to discuss the way that I feel about this trade, because as you guys know, the second that Brett Veach restructured Travis Kelce's contract and brought in, a few extra $1 million to play around with, I just said, and I said it on camera, don't pick up a wide receiver. I just don't think we need one. I don't think we need another wide receiver. We're coming off of a game where we had 3 different receivers, including Travis Kelce, that had at least 98 receiving yards. Okay, we had Juju, MVS, and Travis Kelce, all reaching about 100 receiving yards. Okay, and then we had another guy, Mecole Hardman, who had 3 touchdowns. So if that's not an indication that we have enough firepower on our offense, then I don't know what is. But here we are. Okay, and it's crazy. It's crazy to me. And Kadarius Toney, I understand that he's got an insane amount of upside, and that's why I'm being careful with my words here, okay? I'm being very, very careful with what I am saying, because there's potential for this guy to just be an absolute superstar, and I don't want to look like an idiot and say, oh, this was a bad trade, because I do honestly firmly believe that this could end up being a great trade. But if Kadarius Toney doesn't end up being that superstar that we're all hoping for him to be, then this is not a good trade. Because we don't need another wide receiver right now. We just don't. But I think what we're looking to happen is, Kadarius Toney joins the Chiefs, kind of finds his footing here in Kansas City. Next year, the year after that, he just becomes a big, big playmaker for the Chiefs. Maybe even our number 1 wide receiver. I could definitely see that being the game plan moving forward, And maybe, that results in us having to drop a couple of guys. MVS maybe has to go to another team. Juju maybe has to go to another team. But, this is definitely very interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch this situation unfold, because right now in our offense, I'm trying to think, where does he really fit in? Where does Kadarius Toney fit in here among these really solid group of wide receivers? We've got, just a ton of really, really good players. Sky Moore is a guy who, I just feel like I haven't seen a lot of, okay? But now it just seems like he's way sliding all the way down the depth chart. I wanted to see him get a little bit more involved in this offense. But you know what, man? Kadarius Toney, it's like, sorry, bud, you're going to have to move down a little bit. We got this guy who's a pretty solid player. So definitely very interesting, And I'm going to firmly state, I'm going to make sure that I'm not switching up. I'm sticking to my word by saying that we just don't need another wide receiver. I don't think right now we need Kadarius Toney, but nevertheless, he's on the team, okay? And you know what, man? I'm just going to trust Brett Veach, because he hasn't let me down so far, making pretty solid moves. A couple of questionable ones, I will say. Le'Veon Bell, LaShawn McCoy, But you know what, man? Here we are, okay? And, a lot of it is, you know, we need a defensive player. A third and a sixth round pick could have gotten us a very solid cornerback. You know, it could have gotten us, you know, potentially it could have gotten us Brian Burns, you know, to be another edge rusher for us, which would have been fantastic. Definitely interesting, you know. And hopefully, you know, it seems as if reports are coming out that the Chiefs are also looking into a couple of other guys. You know, Josh Allen is a guy who's been talked about quite a bit. Not the quarterback, obviously, the defensive end. So it's interesting. It's very interesting to see what's developing here for the Chiefs. You know, maybe we pick up another guy, and that would be just perfect for us. You know, that would make me feel a whole lot better about the trade that we just made to acquire Kadarius Toney. Because I think if we pass the trade deadline and we don't address our defense, I feel like that could definitely hurt us in the playoffs. Because we've seen it all season. You know, if even one of our quarterbacks are down, you know, it's just tough for those guys, for those 7th round rookies to be able to step in and actually perform. You know, we need all of our corners in the game. You know, Rashad Fenton goes out. It's just, dang, you know, it's tough. And then, you know, we haven't had Trent McDuffie all season. And that's been very difficult for us, okay? So, it's tough. It's very tough, but you know what, man? Kadarius Toney, I'm glad he's on the team, man. I'm going to say that flat out. You know, I think Kadarius Toney, this dude is a beast. You know, he's just a different type of athlete. I watched a few highlights of him in college, and just the way that this dude moves, I mean, it's insane. I'm not sure that there's a defender in the NFL that can really stay in front of this guy. You know, so I definitely applaud him for that. And now he's on the Chiefs. You know, we're definitely still working on trying to you know, replace Tyreek Hill, even though I think we've definitely done that. You know, we have so many solid players, but you know, here we are, Kadarius Toney on the Chiefs. Definitely an interesting development. I'm super excited to see what he can do in this red uniform. And you know what, man? As skeptical as I am, you know, again, I'm not trying to sound stupid. You know, if this dude ends up being a superstar and then people look back at this video and be like, oh, what the heck's wrong with him? I truly, firmly do believe, you know, just in case that happens, I want to clarify, I do firmly believe that this could end up being a fantastic trade for the Chiefs. I mean, if this dude turns into a superstar, a 3rd and a 6th round pick for a freaking superstar wide receiver, I'll take that. So, crossing my fingers. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next Chiefs chat. Peace out.